All right, everybody, here we go. My name is Dave, and I teach people how to play the saxophone, and I'm so grateful that you're here today. What we're going to talk about briefly is part 2 of Dave's warm-ups. You might remember part 1 if you haven't seen part 1 of my warm-up series. It's real simple. I'll show you right now. I start on the lowest of the fundamentals, B flat, then B, then C, then C sharp, and D. I stop at D. And I do harmonic overtones. And let me show you how to do that. Breath. Breath. I hang on to the fundamental, the last fundamental, until I run out of breath, okay? We'll get on to part 2 now, part 2 of Dave's warm-up series. And before I get into that, I want to invite each and every one of you watching today to join me for private lessons, one-on-one sessions via Zoom, okay? And the best way to do this is to have an issue, have something that you want to work on, a specific thing. You know, general or vague saxophone questions kind of get general or vague saxophone lessons. And at your level, you're ready to be specific and work on stuff, okay? In my own example, when I play out on the alto, sometimes the high end, the top end of the horn, the palm keys especially, sound really shrill to me. That sound nice and refined and elegant here in the practice room. But when I get out and I start honking away, especially if I'm competing with a couple of trumpets and a trombone in a section, and I'm being lead alto, I find that the top end of the horn starts to sound shrill to my ear. So I have a mentor, and I went to the mentor, and we worked on that last week. We worked on air and embouchure and all that nonsense. I mean, he looked at every bit of what I was doing here, talked about reed, mouthpiece, you know, every little, you know, but my point is I took something really specific into the shop instead of just you know, well, I want better tone. No, I took a specific issue. So you do that too. Think of something and reach out to me at the information I'll put in the description below, okay? If you'd like to set something up, send me, you know, whatever the issue is that you want to work on, or issues, and I can read over them. And maybe I can help you, and maybe I can't. And if I can't, we will shake hands and part company. But if I can, we'll set something up, okay? Now, for part 2 of Dave's warm-up, all right? You've gone through your harmonic overtone series, nice and slow, much slower than I just did that for you. I'm trying to be respectful of your time. Here's what we do now. I just play the chord tone starting with C, 1, 3, and 5, like this. Low C, and I move up through the horn. I skipped one, didn't I? I take that all the way up as high as you can. If you're into your altissimos, take it up into your altissimo range, all right? And the best practice is always set your metronome and, you know, somewhere in the low 60s, okay? I want you to spend some time on these. Again, I'm rushing because I don't want to waste your time. You got stuff to do. And my metronome is in my smartphone, which I'm using to record this. I don't have an external metronome. They all seem to walk out of the studio. I loan them to students and they don't come back. So anyway, that's the first, and it's a beautiful thing. And you can come up, you can go up, and then you can come back down again, okay? You can do that if you want. You can customize this in any way that works for you. I'm just showing you what works for me, and what works for me may not work for you, okay? There's no one size fits all. Now the next exercise is just a little bit trickier. What I do, starting again on low C, I play the 1, 2, 3. We skip the 4 and we go right to the 5. C, D, E, G, right? And here's where it gets tricky. Again, the next set is just a half step higher, but I play them descending. So I'm going to C sharp, but I'm playing that 5, 3, 2, 1. Oh no. Yeah, here you go. Ready? All right. Hey, listen, yeah, I know you're right, you're panicked. Don't. If I can do this, you can do this. And again, go all the way up and back down again. Nice and slow. Metronome's clicking away at 60. You got your click track, and it's not going very fast, okay? Because the idea is to warm up. I mean, you don't have to, you don't have to sit there and be like a gunner. I mean, you see that all day on YouTube, and I think, okay, well, good for you. The way to get it done, in fact, if Chick Corea taught us anything, is to practice amazingly slowly. I mean, painfully slowly, right? Because you can hear the notes. You hear each note and you hear each interval. Whatever's going on in between. Are you clean? Are you sloppy? I mean, you're not going to hear that if you're jamming away there, right? Now, that was not to imply that I've studied with Chick Corea, but Lord knows there are enough YouTube videos of people who did play with Chick Corea and who talked about the experience and who may have snuck backstage to watch him rehearse a little bit and said, my God, this guy that can rip on the piano practices really slowly. So that's it. You've got a part 1 and you got a part 2 on how to warm up and how to get your fingers in the game, get your tone in the game, get all of this, get your air support, all that business going on before you step foot 1 out on the stage and start jamming with your homies, all right? Hey, questions? You know where to reach out and find me. Again, I'll put my contact information in the description below. But I'll tell you right now, davegoodsax@gmail.com gets right straight to me. Send me questions or put them in the link. And better yet, why don't you share with us what your warm-up system is, how you warm up prior to going out and playing at a jam or a gig or before you practice. Should you warm up before you practice? Oh, absolutely. I'm glad you asked that question. Yeah. You should always warm up. Saxophone is kind of it's a bit of an athletic, you're holding this, 8 pounds of brass. You're putting a lot of air through it. And you want to get your, all this business warmed up so that, you're closing and opening things in the right sequences, okay? So that's what I got for you today. Warm up part 1, warm up part 2. Hope you're all well. Play your saxophones, be kind, be good to each other. And I will see you here next time I think of something. Hey, if you have any suggestions for future lessons, why don't you circle around and hit me back with some of those too, okay? All right, hey, take care. See you again.